Today, we're going to break down the evolution of solar industries. And let me tell you, it's quite a story. What was, a traditional explosives manufacturer has completely transformed into a high-technology defense powerhouse. It's now seen as more than just a company. It's really being viewed as a strategic sovereign asset for India. So let's dive into exactly how this major shift happened.
Right. This transformation, it's really the core of the whole story here. We're going to unpack how solar industries managed to pivot from its old school industrial explosives business to become a serious contender in the global defense landscape. So, how are they doing it? Well, a big piece of the puzzle is capitalizing on India's Atmanirbhar Bharat policy, the push for self-reliance. This has opened the door for them to monetize the massive global demand for high-tech, precision ammunition. And make no mistake, this isn't just a domestic play, it's a full-blown global strategy. Now, this is what gives the company such a unique advantage, what we'd call a dual-layered business moat. Think about it. The foundation is their super stable, cash-rich industrial explosives business. That consistent cash flow is what funds their high-growth defense ambitions. It creates this incredibly strong financial and regulatory wall that's just really, really tough for any competitor to get over. And building on that advantage is their near total immunity to supply chain chaos. By producing critical raw materials like ammonium nitrate themselves in-house, Solar Industries is basically insulated from the global supply chain shocks that have absolutely hammered their competitors. This means they can keep production steady and, more importantly, protect their margins. Okay, so with that solid foundation in place, let's switch gears and look at the bull case. And this is where the story gets incredibly compelling, because it's driven by some truly staggering numbers in both growth and global reach. The absolute centerpiece of the bull case is this, a record order book of 21,200 crores. But the really critical number here is that 18,000 crores of that comes from the defense pipeline. For any company, having that kind of backlog provides just incredible revenue visibility for the next 3, maybe even 4 years. And we're not just talking about orders. The growth is just explosive. The defense segment alone is expanding at a jaw-dropping 72% year over year. But you know what's even more important? It's not just revenue growth, it's profitable growth. As they shift their product mix toward higher value stuff like Pinaka rockets and drones, those profit margins are expanding, projected to hit nearly 29%. This growth is also going global in a big way. A recent international contract worth over 1,400 crores really shows their export momentum is real. And this is so important strategically. Why? Because it hedges them against the ups and downs of domestic orders and lets them tap directly into the global shortage of key munitions like 155mm shells. Of course, no story is all sunshine and roses. We have to look at the other side. So now we pivot to the bear case. Because with such an incredible growth story comes some pretty significant risks, and they mostly center around a sky-high valuation and the immense pressure to execute absolutely flawlessly. And here it is, the central challenge for anyone looking at this stock. The valuation is, to put it lightly, stratospheric. A trailing price-to-earnings ratio over 82 times, some metrics even push that to 122 times. What that means is the market has already priced in absolute perfection. There is simply zero margin for any kind of error in execution. None. And there are very real threats to that perfect execution. You've got volatility in input costs, especially for that key ingredient, ammonium nitrate, which could squeeze margins. And on top of that, rising interest expenses are becoming a real headwind. They hit over 34 crores in the third quarter alone. That starts to add up. There's also a qualitative risk you just can't ignore. There's an ongoing legal dispute within the founding Newall family, and that creates what we call a corporate governance overhang. This is a huge red flag for a lot of big ESG-focused institutional investors, and you can bet the regulators are keeping a close eye on it. So how do we balance all this? Let's try to synthesize it by looking at the strategic outlook, which is really a battle between execution versus expectation. Can the company's actual performance live up to the market's incredibly high hopes? Well, their latest quarterly results from Q3 of fiscal year 26 were, frankly, exceptional. They delivered 38% growth in profit after tax, and management says they're entering a whole new phase of defense exports. But it's worth noting that the Pinaka rocket deliveries were slightly pushed to the next quarter. It's a minor detail, sure, but it's a perfect little reminder of that execution risk we were just talking about.
Looking ahead, management is radiating confidence. They've reiterated their guidance for 10,000 crores in revenue by fiscal 26, with strong EBITDA margins to boot. And they're already aiming for the next frontier, a strategic shift into space propellants through some really exciting partnerships with private space tech companies like Agnicool and Skyroot. Which leaves us with this one central question. Solar Industries has this incredible growth story in defense and a fascinating new frontier opening up in space. But can flawless execution in these incredibly demanding sectors truly justify a valuation that is already priced in perfection, a valuation that leaves absolutely no room for error? That's the key strategic tension everyone needs to be watching.